Yo, 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 it's your boy Dolo Ren. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? It's a new week. We're fresh off of the UFC 320. And I know I wasn't too active on this channel last week, but I was on Productive Conversations podcast. I gave them an exclusive episode covering UFC 320. At least, like, the main card is what I usually do. As fight fans, we watch the whole thing, or most of the time we watch the whole thing. But yeah, I usually just cover like the main card fights. I'll cover the top three ones for UFC 320. If you want to recap it, I think it's a good episode. I have my boy Jose on there, Jose from Productive Conversations. You know, we chopped it up. We came to a conclusion. We were right about two out of the three of the choices, which is, I'll take it. It's better than, one out of three from before, but, you know, not bad, not bad. But, where we were wrong at was the biggest surprise of the night. So that's not too bad. I'll take that. We could take that on the chin. But it was a good night of fights, man. It was a good night of fights. At least it was real top heavy. But you had Joe Pyfer getting his victory. You had Yusuf Zalal getting his victory. The guys that were talked about during the week, for the most part, they won. For the most part, they won. Joe Pyfer, you feel how you want, but that was a good win. The Yusuf Zalal win, shout out to Josh Emmett. He's been a great. I really see Josh Emmett as a great gatekeeper, but Yusuf Zalal, man, it looks like they might be putting a rocket on this guy. I'm not sure, but we'll see how that goes. But really, we covered the top three cards. I mean, the top three fights of the main card. The Alex Pereira fight with Magomedov Ankalaev. We covered Corey Sandhagen versus Merab Dvalishvili, and we covered Jiri Prochazka versus Khalil Roundtree. So, yeah, like I said, two out of three. We were right out of two out of three of them. And you know which one we got wrong. Everybody knows which one we got wrong. So basically, to start off with the Merab, I want to start off with the Merab fight. Merab really put it on this guy, man. I did see Corey as a better striker than Sean O'Malley. So I wasn't too surprised that it went the distance. And I'm not that surprised that Corey really held his own with the striking. It was really Merab that really showed us even uh more angles of his game, really putting it on him on round 2, really putting in that boxing and dropping Corey, almost taking him out. Like if you saw Sean O'Malley's reaction, like Sean O'Malley basically thought that Corey was out. So that's how good that was in round 2, man. Like, and the rest of it kind of just went how you'd think, just Merab just finding his way to get him to the ground, get the back, knee his thigh, and then just throw him on the ground and ragdoll him. Like, yeah, this is, predominantly kind of boxing and striking kind of centered channel. And I am a fight fan regardless. So, I like what I like. But Merab, man, like, you got to do nothing. You can't do nothing but respect it. I'm not a big wrestling guy, I'm not big into the grappling. But for a guy like Merab to be as short as he is and to have gone through the murderer's row of fighters, literally the murderer's row of fighters, bro. Like he's done nothing but prove it that he deserves to be where he is. And as good of a guy as he is, man, like, Aljamain was a champion before, and we know Sean O'Malley took him out in a knockout. But, Merab was such a good guy. He waited for Aljamain to go up and wait because he didn't want to face his friend. Merab is just everything you love about a wholesome, great fighter. You got to call him a great fighter now. He's not just very good. He's not just kind of good. He's very good, more than very good, very great. Like this is a great fighter, legendary fighter. There's almost nothing else he can do in the weight class. And shout out to Corey too. Like Corey really did have Merab like on his toes. Merab was being a little bit careful there. Although he felt confident enough to strike with him, especially in that round 2. Like after a while, it was just like Merab kind of got the gist of it. Like Corey was gonna be there in his face, as soon as they got up from the ground. Crazy cardio to keep getting up from the ground. What was it like 20 takedowns that Merab landed on him? And Merab, even after the fight, admitted that he was spamming takedowns to pad his record. So that's okay. You got the takedowns, bro. You was ragdolling them around, bro. Like we can love striking for all it is and for the aesthetics of the game, but but like, yo, there's nothing like seeing Merab just dominate a guy bigger than him and just do his thing and force his will upon an opponent. Very few people can fight like that. And Merab, man, he's one of a kind, yo, one of a kind. The bantamweight goat probably is better than TJ Dillashaw. Who else? Like Dominic Cruz. There's almost nobody better. So hats off to him, bro. Hats off to Merab. Great victory. And I know I told you how to go for the money line, but I did say, if you want to get a little freaky, put some money on a round four submission. And Merab almost got it. So y'all got to listen to me when I say these things. Merab almost choked the life out of Corey at the end of the fourth round with that Darce choke. He had his arm, like, it was a cool Darce choke too, with like one arm. Like, it was cool. Like, bro, he almost choked the life out of him. So, like, he was trying to get that fourth round submission. He was trying to get a late game submission. So, got to give me props for that. And yeah, we called that win. We called that win beautifully. Shout out to Corey. I think the next move for Corey is to fight somebody like maybe Sean O'Malley. Why not make a fight with Sean O'Malley? That'd be a great fan pleaser. And it'll really show where both of them are in that ranking. Because you got a lot of other guys in that ranking. You always got Peter Yan like looming in the background. Cheeto, I think Cheeto's basically done. And we don't hear about Cheeto no more. But like, here's the thing, like, I think that Merab should give Alexandre Pantoja a chance at his belt. He should give him a chance at that bantamweight belt. Cause like, what else can either one of them do? What is Merab gonna do? Fight Yang Sedang? Like, I mean, that's probably the only person left to beat. And what is Alexandre Pantoja gonna do? What are they gonna do? Get another guy from like ONE FC or like from PFL or something to fight him? They might as well just make Merab Dvalishvili and Alexandre Pantoja. That's what they should do, and just make it. Give Merab his day in the sun. Let him headline a really really cool event like that because everybody likes to see champ versus champ. Everyone likes to see that. So, yeah, I think we should do that. I think we should do that. And Corey should probably fight Sean O'Malley. Why not? Kind of simple matchups. Let the rest of the division figure itself out. Or maybe Umar. Because Umar probably does deserve like something big too, just because he beat Corey. Maybe have Umar fight O'Malley. Why not? But it's gonna be between them guys. Maybe Sean O'Malley fights Yang Sedang and maybe Umar fights Corey. No. Opposite. Maybe Umar fights Sean and maybe Corey fights Sedang. I'm not sure, but we'll see how that goes. But ultimately, I want to see Merab fight Pantoja. I think that's the next move for him because there's nothing else he can really do, and there's nothing else that Pantoja can really do either. So yeah, UFC, let's make that happen. For the next fight that we covered, Prochazka, Jiri Prochazka, and Khalil Roundtree. Now, I was in the middle of the recording. I was kind of shocked to see that Prochazka was the favorite. I thought he would have been the underdog, and I was trying to get y'all some money. So, you know, either way, it was a lock. I felt like it was a lock regardless. So I still stuck with my pick. But man, like for good reason. I really thought for good reason Khalil Roundtree would be the favorite because of the youth and more activity and that discipline versus someone that's chaotic like Yuri. Like I thought Roundtree would have been a good favorite, but I ultimately picked Yuri Prochazka because of that chaos. Like, you know, that unpredictability. It's like you know what he's coming with, but you don't know what he's gonna do. And that was the thing with Prochazka. Like for the first two rounds, like he was trying to figure out his range. I think they people see it as like, oh, Roundtree just he just slipped and lost the third round and really just got caught with a good one and got put to bed, and that's how it was. I mean, there's probably some truth to it, but like I really do think Yuri was like just timing himself and really trying to figure out how he could get in because I think he knew that he could hurt him. Yuri, it's like if Yuri can touch you, then he could hurt you. That's usually the tale of the story. And he didn't win how I thought he'd win. I thought he'd kind of coast. Like I thought Yuri would put that headwork into movement, into into action and really get to Roundtree a lot sooner than he did. But it took him a little while, because Roundtree, you got to give him props, man. He's a strong fighter. He knows what he's doing. The Muay Thai game is he's got it on lock. That sweeping leg kick, he's very strong with it. And he did a lot better against Pereira than Prochazka did, So it's like I'm like, how is Roundtree not the favorite? But either way, we saw why because Prochazka had the height, he had the reach. You know, these are two guys that were gonna strike. Roundtree was never gonna go for the legs and try to grapple. They were always gonna strike. And when it comes to that, and Prochazka actually working on his head movement and also being very fluid with stance, and that footwork. That's those are the things I thought were gonna culminate to like easy Prochaska win. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but and I knew it was gonna be a hard fight to call. But Prochaska really came through for us, man. He really came through for us and really put it on him with that spinning elbow. And then from there, Roundtree just, when Roundtree gets hurt, he gets hurt, man. And you can't blame him. I mean, he's only human. They're all just human at the end of the day. Like, you're taking spinning elbows from Prochaska. You're taking leg kicks and hooks from Pereira. Like, the man's only human, bro, and he's done incredible in the UFC with all his abilities. And if he keeps going, one day he could touch the belt for sure. Especially when we get into what I'm about to get to soon when it comes to Pereira. Like somebody's gonna be fighting for a vacant belt. That's what I really think. But Roundtree is, he deserves his credit, for putting it on him for that first 2 rounds. But Prochaska, man, like is just something different about him, yo. Like he's just a really weird guy, but you can just see it. You could just see his demeanor, how focused he is, and how much he wants it. Like Prochaska's one of those guys that you can always say that he wants it. You can never. He's not like some Kevin Holland that's just like smoking mad blunts and just chilling and don't really care about being champ. He's not like a Nate Diaz that just like only cares about like putting hands on you, doesn't really care about the actual sport of MMA. He really just wants to put hands on you and just laugh at you or whatever dumb shit he was doing. Like, no, Yuri Prochaska wants to be champion. He loves fighting and he's doing what he loves, and we appreciate that. So, shout out to Prochaska, man. Hell of a knockout. Hell of a knockout. And Roundtree, props to you, bro. Like, you're an amazing fighter. We'll see where your career goes, but you should keep on going, man. That's how I feel. But Prochaska is probably gonna be fighting for like a vacant title. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see Pereira and Prochaska 3. I don't even want to see Pereira and Ankalaev 3. I mean, well, that would deserve more of a trilogy than Prochaska. Let's be honest. Because like with Prochaska, he knocked him out twice. Do I really have to knock you out a third time for this to be settled? How many times does Prochaska have to knock him out? I mean, how many times does Pereira have to knock Prochaska out? This is crazy. I just don't get it. And Prochaska deserves, he deserves a title shot. And it's so weird because he's not like, even if he got the title shot against Pereira, it wouldn't be worth it. But if anyone deserves a trilogy, it's Ankalaev, right? And before I get to Pereira and Ankalaev, yeah, I think Prochaska should be fighting for a vacant title, which is going to be vacant soon. He should be fighting for the title, but it's got to be vacant. It can't be against Pereira. Nobody wants to see that. But Roundtree, he's gonna have to rebuild, man. He's gonna have to. I'm not sure where he is in the rankings right now. I'm pretty sure they put it out, but as far as the light heavyweight class, it's only like Prochaska, Jamal Hill, Roundtree. You got Carlos Oberg. You got Jan Blachowicz. Like, you got some guys there. I think Johnny Walker's light heavyweight, right? Like, you got some guys there, but we know who the top dogs are, and Prochaska's definitely he's got to be like number one contender. Maybe it'll be Prochaska and Carlos Ulberg for that vacant title. Who knows? And that leads to my point with Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev. Holy shit! Holy shit! That's my bad. I didn't think he was gonna knock his ass out like that, yo. I thought he was capping about the 40%. He was not capping. Something was different this time. Like that leg kick, you know, because you know how Pereira's gonna start off the fight. That leg kick was landing right away for Pereira. He came straight in, and then to see Adesanya's reaction to everything, you know, that said a lot because Adesanya is a guy that shared the ring with the guy Pereira like at least 4 times, you know, and is the last person to knock out Pereira. So you know, you got that too. Like you know, seeing Izzy's reaction to it, like when Izzy saw that he was closing the distance, like immediately, Izzy was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Pereira's got this. Yeah, I see the look in his eyes too, and all that." So to see Adesanya really like just see what was coming, like you know, it's pretty cool, pretty cool. And Pereira, man, like you know, with all that talk about Nina making him soft, you know, him making excuses and traveling the world, going to Korea and, you know, doing this and that, doing all this dumb stuff. Bro, he was locked in. When it came fight night, he was locked in, bro. He was locked in. And, you know, Ankalaev, you know, after the fight, uh, man, it sucks for Ankalaev because I want to give him props, but, like, you know, you got one victory over Pereira. That's more than most people. So you might as well take it. You touched the belt, bro. You didn't defend it, but you touched it. It's all right. It's all right, bro. You know, like you did what you did. You know, you did pretty good. That light heavyweight belt just constantly changes hands. But yeah, man, like Ankalaev, man, he got something was different, bro. And then after the fight, you know, of course, like he gets like the thing is he was taking them shots and then he kind of dove. Like he had to switch orthodox because he was getting kicked so much in that front lead leg for the southpaw stance. He had to switch it because Pereira was just hitting it up. And that like low key, it all happened kind of fast, so I couldn't really see how it happened. I'm like, yo, how the hell did this happen? But when Ankalaev went orthodox, he was not the same fighter. He was not it. He started diving for the legs, and then when he dove for that leg, Pereira started hammering down elbows. I guess the 12-6 elbows are allowed now. I don't know, but he was hammering down elbows and hammered down his ribs too. That was a bad one. That was a really good shot. And yeah, Ankalaev like he couldn't take the onslaught and he got put out. Like he didn't really get put out, but what happened was it had to happen. With the ref stepping in, it had to happen. Because if he didn't, then Ankalaev would have been a bloody, destroyed mess. Probably broken orbital bone, broken nose, like something. So, you know, good job to the ref. The ref did the right thing. At first, I'm kind of thinking that was a little bit too fast, but no, no, no. Rewatching it, no, I wasn't too fast. Like Ankalaev was not going to get out of that position too well, if alive, you know. So, man. And then to hear Ankalaev, you know, with the to hear whoever the hell is talking on his team, on his, you know, Ali Abdelaziz, whoever it is, right? To see him, you know, talk about, oh, I had this surgery, I had this going on, I had a broken this, broken that. It was a bunch. I didn't even remember exactly what was said, but like, bro, come on, yo, like, the hell are you talking about? Bro, you wasn't saying all that. And then if that stuff is true, then that's like the UFC's not doing the right thing. The UFC's not doing the right thing if they're letting people fight like that with that many injuries. Because I'm putting money on this. I'm telling other people to put money on it, and y'all not being clear and concise with the injuries, with the injury report. You know what I mean? The NBA gives us an injury report. NFL gives us an injury report. It's like the UFC don't want to do that. So it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Yeah, Ankalaev, bro. I feel bad. I feel bad. And Pereira did exactly what he was supposed to do, man. And we want Pereira as champ. I didn't pick Ankalaev because I want him to be champ. I just didn't see how he would be able to beat Pereira a second time around. And Pereira did it. He did it, man. Hands of stone, you can't deny that. And it proves one thing, you know, because you know I know MMA Guru and the X community are making this like a Russian thing, like an inbred Russian, you know, losing and that being good for the company. Maybe it is, and I don't know if Magomed is an inbred. That's kind of messed up to say, but regardless, I think that it's good for the sport. It's good for Pereira to be champion because Ankalaev, you know, he was gonna give you some like He would have been funny. How Jan Blachowicz was funny. Just like unintentionally funny. But other than that, what was he really gonna give us as champion? Like he had a nice, well-rounded game, and that was about it. Like no special effects there really. Good fighter, like a really great fighter, but no special effects there. With Pereira, you get all the special effects. You get all that comes with it. The chama, the fans around the world, cool striking, Nina, all of that stuff. You get all of that. So although I was wrong on that pick, that's my bad, y'all. That was the third pick, and that's the one we unfortunately got wrong. I don't think I'm sorry about y'all parlays because I lost money too, but we should be happy for the sport because it's a better sport with Pereira as champ, a better division. And as far as what they should do after, Alex Pereira, like Jose said on the show, I think he wants a John Jones fight. I think he wants a fight at the White House. And Alex Pereira lives in Danbury, Connecticut, so why not? He's technically an American champion now. He's an American champion now. You know what I mean? Ice didn't come for him yet. Even if Ice did, Ice is like releasing like 70% of immigrants. I mean, either way, I think that would be great because what else is Pereira gonna do? What's Pereira gonna do? Fight Olberg? I guess you could make it happen, but Pereira should really only have like big fights from now on. He's kind of proven. He's kind of done what he's had to do. He's became champion in two different weight classes in the span of like what 4 years. Maybe he came in 2020. I don't know. 4 to 5 years. In 4 to 5 years, Pereira has done what literally no one else has been able to do. And that light heavyweight too, like yeah, man, like fighting guys that were established. The guys he fought were former champs. Prochazka knocked him out twice. That was a former champ. Jamal Hill knocked him out in the first round as a former champ. Ankalaev knocked him out in the first round. Became former champ by beating him the first time. Jan Blachowicz. That fight is still up in the air, as far as the decision, but yeah, like he's fought and beat all the former champs. So he really and he's getting older too. So it's like, what else can he really do? They should get that John Jones fight because that's looking pretty good. Like Tom Aspinall, is John Jones gonna fight Tom? No. They offered John Jones 30 million to fight Tom, and he still said no. He doesn't want to fight Tom. It is what it is, bro. He's scared. That's fine. But with Pereira, that could be something that could happen. And honestly, that might just go to Cyril Gahn route again. Who knows? Like John Jones might really put Pereira out very quickly. There's a storyline there. There's a storyline there. Pereira could get it back for Glover Teixeira. And plus they're both guys that have John Jones is the certified champ legend. Pereira had to prove himself. And now he's a certified legend. Yeah. I think Jose had it right, bro. I think that should be the fight for the White House. And Sean O'Malley's talking about a trilogy with Merab at the White House, but nobody wants to see that, bro. That's ridiculous. That's just really ridiculous. Maybe Sean O'Malley could get a fight at the White House. It should be Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. That'll be one of the best fights ever. So, that would be a really good fight. But yeah, as far as Pereira, yeah, he should just get a big fight. And Ankalaev, like, that belt's gonna be vacant if Pereira moves up to heavyweight. So yeah, like that's a vacant title shot, and I think Ankalaev deserves it. So it might be Prochazka and Ankalaev. We'll see how that goes. But that was UFC 320. That was the fights we covered. And yeah, shout out to Pereira for giving us an amazing performance. Like I did say it was gonna be a better fight, and I was a little bit wrong about that. It was a better fight for Alex. It was a better fight for him, but it was overall a very quick night for that. And yeah, we got two knockouts out of the top three main cards. That's pretty cool. Not a bad card. Not a bad card. Yeah, yeah. So thank you for watching that episode on Productive Conversations podcast. Like I said, we talked about a lot of other stuff on there too, so I will go check it out. if I was y'all. We talked about like the White House card. We talked about Wanderlei Silva's boxing match that went really bad. We talked about our favorite fighters. We talked about a whole bunch of stuff. So check that episode out regardless. The event's already passed, but I still think it's a good episode. And, for UFC 321, we're going to be covering it again on the Productive Conversations podcast. And once again, I'll give y'all a post show on the Dolo Ran channel. So, yeah, check it out. We got a lot going on in the boxing world. We got Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fundora. We got Brian Norman versus Devin Haney. We got Pitbull Cruz versus Lamont Roach. We got Rolly versus Pacquiao. Like a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, Canelo versus whoever now. It could be anyone, maybe Benavidez. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, as far as UFC, man, it was a good night. It was a good night for UFC. And we're gonna cover more MMA in the future on this channel and on Productive Conversations podcast. So check it out. It's your boy Dolo Ren, the most honest, the most uncompromised, and the realest in the combat sports commentary game. So check me out. Check out my channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And we'll catch y'all at the next event. And yeah, watch my other videos too. We've been real boxing heavy lately. And we're going to keep doing that, but we're going to mix it up with some UFC coverage too and some video essays coming. So, thank you for stopping by. And yeah, I'll catch y'all at UFC 321. We're going to cover that one whenever it's time. So, you know, catch y'all next time, man. We out. Peace.